Hi, I'm Lauren, accountant for therapists. Today I wanted to go over QuickBooks and 5 of my top tips on how to use it and get the most out of it. And to do that, I wanted to actually show you in QuickBooks. So I've created a therapy practice for my dog Sadie. So she's getting started with her own therapy practice, and we're going to help her get set up. So let's hop into QuickBooks now and let me show you my 5 tips. All right, so we've hopped into QuickBooks and we are on our dashboard page. Again, this is a dummy account, so everything that you see in here is going to be not real or made up. So let's get into it. So my first tip is to actually connect your bank feed. A lot of people don't do that, and that's kind of the crux of the software, is to connect your bank feed. So I want to show you how to do that if you're just getting started with that or if you need some help with it. So how we do that is we're going to go into accounting. If you're on the new version of QuickBooks, you can also get to it by bank transactions on the left-hand side if you're in the old version of it. But either way, we're going to go to accounting and bank transactions. So this is where all of your bank accounts are going to be located, whether it's checking, savings, credit cards, anything like that. Those are going to be listed here. So I just have a checking account set up right now for Sadie. So we want to link that up. So the way we're going to do that is just go to link account. And this is going to pull up a list of popular banks. If one of these is not your bank, that's okay. You can just search for it. For instance, I have a local bank close to me that's called South State. So I'm just going to type in their name. And I want to pick the one with the website that I go to when I go to log into my bank account. So this first one here is the one that I would need to use. So I'm just going to click on that. Each bank is going to be a little bit different with how they have this part set up. So you'll just want to follow the prompts along with that. So, from here, you'll want to put in your username, ID, and password, and those are going to be the exact credentials you use to actually log into your bank account online. So once you do that, you'll hit continue and you'll keep following the prompts along to log into your account. You may have to have security codes sent to you or tokens, however your bank does their security access. Once you get that far in, you'll be able to click the accounts that you want to link to QuickBooks. So if you use a checking account and you may have a savings account that you're not using and you don't want to have that in there, then you don't need to link it. So you can actually pick the ones that you want to link. My advice is to link everything that you're actually using. So that way you can, get those transactions into QuickBooks. So once you get that set up, QuickBooks is going to do its thing and it's going to load in all of the transactions for you. All right, you will know it's linked when this link account is still here, but you'll have a refresh button or an update button. And when you click that button, this little refresh wheel will go in circles like it's updating. So it's bringing in all of your most current transactions. So just to talk about this a little bit, this bank amount is going to be your actual bank account balance, and posted is going to be what you actually have in QuickBooks. So if you're writing checks out of QuickBooks, or if you have bills in QuickBooks or anything like that that you've paid but have not yet cleared your bank account, those are going to be included in this balance. So this is what I like to call, like, if you're kind of old school like me, if you have a checkbook balance versus your actual bank balance. Again, that's not anything to be too worried about. In a perfect world, these two balances should match, but they don't necessarily do all the time. However, you do want this balance to match what is showing in your bank account. So if this balance is off, that means there's either some duplicates or things missing in the feed. Over here is the date that the last feed updated. So I only have transactions in here as of October 17th. So anything from the 17th through today has not been captured. Since this is a fake account, I don't really have a bank link or a bank connected. So that's why that date is a little older. Okay, the pencil is going to be kind of our next talking point. When you link a bank account, usually it pulls in this kind of weird naming, and this is my tip number 2. I like to go in and change this so that way if you have multiple accounts on this screen, you know exactly which one it is. And just to make things a little bit easier for yourself and for your accountant. So how we do that is, you can do this a couple of ways, but the easiest way, if you're already on this screen, is to just click the pencil here. and do edit account details. And that's going to bring up this edit screen. And the way that I like to name these accounts is to use the bank name. So for instance, if I was still using my South State Bank account example, I would say South State, and I don't normally put bank. Again, this is however you want to have it set up, but for me personally, I don't put bank at the end of that. So I just say South State checking, and then I kind of get rid of all of these symbols here, and I put in the number, and this should be the last 4 digits of the account number, and then I take out whatever might be after that. So when you get down to it, it's bank name, type of account, and last 4 digits of the account number. Then while we're on the edit account screen here, just to kind of point out some things, the account type is a bank and it is a checking account. If this were a credit card account, you could choose credit card. If it was a savings account, it could stay as bank and then savings, or if it was a money market, anything like that. Again, just to help with the organization of the chart of accounts, which we will get to next. So once we have all of that saved, or the way we want it, we're going to save. And let me X that. And so it's going to look like, well, wait, we just did all of that and it didn't update anything. It won't update until you refresh your web screen. So if you do that, it will then put the naming that we just updated it to. So that was my tip 2. So tip 1 is connect your bank feeds. Tip 2 is to edit the bank account name. And that kind of leads into my next tip, which is my 3rd tip, which is actually going into your chart of accounts and updating the account names for what you might need. Your business is going to be tailored to you. So if you have a group practice, or if you offer like group therapy sessions, or if you only do solo sessions, or if you do webinars, if you have any other income streams coming in that you want to be able to notate like on your income statement, you can add those in here and make those specific to your practice. And to do that, all you really need to do is just come down to the, here we can see that these are all income accounts. Some of these, like these down here, are accounts that QuickBooks just has in there as default, and you won't be able to inactivate them. So they just kind of have to hang out there. But let's say we want to make this sales account into something else. All I need to do is click the drop down here and edit. And let's say, I don't think I have any, let's say we have webinar sessions. And then because it is an income account, I myself like to have account numbers turned on. Not everybody likes that either. But if you do have numbers turned on, just pick a number that kind of falls in sequence to what you currently have. So for this one, I will go with 430. Again, this is not a big deal. It's just what works for you. So now that we have the account name updated, account number, we've got income, and let's say that this is just another service fee income, and we're going to save that. So if we scroll back down, we can see, webinar sessions. For some reason, QuickBooks has been a little slow to add the number, but that will show up. It refreshes again. So now we have our webinar sessions down here. Okay, so we've looked at how to update a existing account and making that work for us. The other thing that I wanted to show you is adding a new account. So let's say you have an expense that's, again, tailored to you, or something that you want to split out. So let's say it's your EHR software fees. This is going to be an expense. And QuickBooks does have quite a few of these detail type that you can pick from. I would just try to get as close as you can to what the expense is. So for this one, it's probably going to be dues and subscriptions, but as you can see, there's a bunch of other ones that you can, like it could be other business expenses, it could be office general, admin expenses. I wouldn't worry so much about picking the right one. Obviously, we know it's not a travel expense, so you wouldn't pick that. So just get it as close as you can logically select. So again, I'm just going to go with dues and subscriptions. I am going to give it an account number. And again, the naming of these is, or the numbering of this is not so much. Okay, I'm going to put it in office and practice, and we're going to do 507. And I am going to make it a sub account, which just means that it's going to nest under this office and practice expenses. So to do that, I'm going to click this button and I'm going to click the office and practice expense. So then we can see it will be housed under this account here. And save. Okay, so still kind of in tip number 3, the other thing that you want to do is inactivate accounts that you're not using. Because when you're in reconciling your bank transactions, you don't want to have all of these accounts in there that you get confused with on, am I using this one? Am I not using this one? Or why does this one keep coming up even though I don't have it? So I recommend going in and just inactivating what you don't use. So for instance, let's say you don't have payroll. You could go in and inactivate all of these payroll accounts. So to do that, you could either, click all, if you want to click all of these off or inactivate all of these, you can do that. So you can highlight them there and then go up to the top under batch actions and make inactive. So if I do that, it's just going to say confirm and I'm going to say yes. And if I scroll back down, all of those have been removed. If you just want to single out one, you can go to the drop-down menu here and make inactive and say yes. So now all of those are gone and we're left with just the header account, which you can remove that one as well. Anyway, so again, just kind of cleaning up your chart of accounts for what it is that your practice is going to need and making sure that you have the expense accounts and income accounts that you're going to need to see for your numbers, because this is your data that you're looking at. If you did inactivate an account that you need or that you did by accident, you can go to the cogwheel here and in settings under other, include inactive. So it will show all of the accounts that have been deleted, and it will put deleted here in parentheses. So you'll know that that one has been inactivated. If you want to make it active again, you just simply go over to the column here and make active. Okay, so that was tip number 3. Tip number 4 is when we are in bank transactions and we're going through and we are actually coding these expenses or the bank transactions that are in here, you want to make sure that you add a payee. And I see a lot of people miss this step, and it really makes it hard for anybody who is going in to look at your books, even you, to recognize what vendor that was for. So if we put all of these in just the expense account, when you go to look at the expense, you're going to have all of these transactions in there, but you're not going to know who you paid. So that makes it really hard at the end of the year when we're going through to confirm balances, and even for 1099s, if you have to send those out to people, that's just going to create a bigger headache for you in the end. So my tip number 4 is to always add a payee. So to do that, when you're in your transaction screen, you can do that here from to, and QuickBooks will want to help you with this. So they may go ahead and generate some suggestions for you. And once you get your account up and going, that will become more and more likely that it gets it right. But just in the beginning, you just want to double check that. So, for example, Ferguson Properties is the vendor that Sadie pays her rent to. I'm going to put in here, and it's going to suggest, do you want to add Ferguson Properties? And I do, because I haven't set them up yet. And they are a vendor. So the difference here in contact types is either customer, vendor, or employee. So just make sure that you are selecting vendor. If not, it's going to show up on a different contact list. And again, it's not a big deal, but if you're doing it, just, select the correct one. So we've got vendor type, we've got Ferguson Properties. Since we would need to send Ferguson a 1099 at the end of the year for rent, you could go ahead and put in their address, any notes. For taxes, this is where you would put in their EIN number or social security number, and you can even hit track payments for 1099. Again, that's kind of an advanced tip, but that's what this contact card is for. So for now, we just want the vendor name. So I'm just going to put Ferguson Properties here and save. And then for your expense account, it is going to be rent and lease expense. So we're good there. And then we're going to hit post. So that's how you can do it from that view. Another view would be to actually just click on the line item and it'll pull in a drop down. So from here, you can select your vendor. So again, I'm going to add CPH insurance for that. And again, I've got vendor and company name, and I'm going to save. And this is Sadie's malpractice insurance, so we are good there. And then we can hit post. So that's two ways on how to add a payee. The payee function, again, is going to be a time saver, a lifesaver too, I guess you could say, at the end of the year. So that's my tip number 4, is to always add a payee. Tip number 5, my last tip, is to create a rule. So like what we had for Ferguson Properties and for CPH Insurance, those are going to be reoccurring expenses that Sadie has. So one way to help you in your reconciling is to create a rule for that. And the way to do that, let me do some back end magic here. I'm going to actually undo this, which puts it back out here to code. So I'm going to hit action and create rule. And it's going to bring up the create rule template. You're always going to want to give the rule a name. You can't save it without one. So I'm just going to put Ferguson Rent, and you can name this whatever you want to, whatever's going to help you find it if you needed to. I like to have it go to all bank accounts. Again, for this account, or for this example, I just have the one checking account. But if you have a checking account, credit cards, anything like that, and let's say this is an Amazon rule, if you use your if you pay Amazon a multiple of ways, if you use this all bank accounts, it's not going to single out just the one bank account. So that's just going to help you use this rule across multiple bank accounts. Anyway, so the next thing you want to do is just kind of set up the rules. So I changed description to bank text. Again, just kind of giving it more general parameters. And contains, and it should contain Ferguson Properties. Down here at the bottom, this is how we're going to have it assign the transaction. So it will be an expense. It is going to be rent and lease expense. The payee, again, is going to be Ferguson Properties. If there's not a payee listed here, put a payee in there. And then, again, this is my own personal, I guess, preference, is to just delete this. I don't like seeing a lot of clutter in the reporting and everything like that, so I just take that out of there. We know if it's going to Ferguson, it's for rent, and that's what it is, reoccurring. So the other thing that you can do, which is a nice feature of QuickBooks, is you can have this automatically add, meaning that whenever Ferguson Properties comes through the bank transaction feed, QuickBooks will already recognize that and move it as reconciled. So you won't even see that come up on your bank transactions list, because it's going to do everything for you in the back end. This saves a lot of time. Again, like if you're using Amazon and you use Amazon solely for office expenses, and you use it multiple times during the month or whatever it might be, then you don't have to actually go through and look at those. I personally don't like this feature because sometimes it may catch something that is not accurate, and I want to be able to click off on the post button. Again, that's a personal preference, but that option is there for you if you want to use it. So for this example, I just turn it off and hit save. So now, let me refresh. Oh, I did it before I could do that. So now when you have that rule set up, it's going to look like this. It's going to show that, oh, I identified that a rule is set up for this, And this is what I was explaining, that you can then go in and just confirm that, yes, this is rent and I want to post it. And that's all you have to do. So those were my 5 tips for QuickBooks. I hope this was helpful. If you have any questions about QuickBooks or bookkeeping, accounting, anything like that in general, please reach out to me. I do this all the time for therapists, and love helping with questions and any other tips that I can provide as well. I hope that was helpful. Just to review, the top 5 tips again were to connect your bank feed, update the bank name, update your chart of accounts based off of your practice needs, add that payee to every transaction that you do reconcile, and the last one here being create rules for yourself. I hope that was helpful, and if you have any questions or need any other tips, please reach out to me. I love working with therapists. I love accounting and want to help you and see you succeed in your practice. Until next time, be well.